Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Knee Slappin' K-pop podcast. Today, we are going to be going through part 2 of our pre-show to Road to Kingdom, talking about the rest of the groups that are going to be in it and their teasers, and just a little bit of background into where they came from, and just talking about our thoughts and opinions on how they'll do on the show. So the first group that we're going to be talking about today is Very Very. And Sammy, you have a little bit of info about them.
Okay. So Very Very was actually one of the groups that I knew very little about. Punny. So they debuted in January of 2019, so they're about a year old. They're under Jellyfish Entertainment, so the same company as VIX and Gugudan. They have 7 members, no former members. They're, all 7 of them are still there and thriving. They actually never did a survival show. They have one reality show called Now Very Very Real Road Movie. Sure. And so I decided I found a weird, interesting fact that I decided to put in here. Their name comes from the Latin word very, which means truth, and the English word very, which is just, the word very. So it's truth very. That's what their name means, essentially.
Much truth.
Much truth.
An abundance of truth.
An abundance of truth. Their notable songs are Ring 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 as their debut. They had Tag Tag Tag. Very much a theme.
They love that one word repeated 3 times.
They messed it up, though.
And then they did From Now, and their latest song was... And then for their B-sides, we have Flower, Love Line, Light Up, Photo, Paradise. Those are the ones that really stood out to me. Because I didn't really know Very Very before I started this research. I knew their title tracks, but I'd never listened to a B-side. And their B-sides are pretty good. They certainly have their style. They're certainly young, fresh-faced, youthful. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I also don't really know much of anything about Very Very. I knew they were gonna debut under Jellyfish, because I knew Jellyfish had been preparing a new boy group for a really long time, but I didn't really get into them very much around debut because they were in this very new jack swing style of music, and I just don't like that style of music that much. But more recently, when they've gotten more away from that, I've started to like the music a lot more because I really liked Lay Back, their most recent song.
I like Layback a lot.
Yeah, Layback is really cool. I think the music video does a lot for it because the editing of that video makes...
Oh, the editing for that's so
yeah,
cool.
That's a wonderful video. It's a great video.
Yeah.
Which kind of, I remembered it and, remembered Very Very because of the editing of that video was so cool. But the song definitely doesn't... It's not, overshadowed by the video. It's still a very good video.
Right.
And the performance is cool, but that Layback is kind of what put me onto them. And I like them. I don't dislike anything that they've, I don't hate anything they've made, so I'm pretty...
I enjoy it, and it's something that I sometimes just, it'll just come up, randomly on, different K-pop things. They'll mix a Very Very song in there. And it's I always enjoy them, but I never find myself seeking it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think gives them a very big opportunity in this show, which is to just, become a group that maybe I'll think about.
Right. I want to say that other than the one group that hadn't even debuted when they started filming this show, I think I probably know the least about Very Very of the groups that were here.
2 is not Lord Voldemort. We can say their name.
No,
I think it's more fun. I feel like it's more fun if we don't speak their name.
We don't speak their name until they come
Until
up.
we get there. We're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah, other than the one group that hadn't debuted, other than the group that's a week old at this point, 2 is probably the one I know the least about as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just excited. I think that they also have the most room to grow. And I think to get back to the question of do I think that they'll win? I don't know if Very Very is gonna try to win.
Yeah.
I don't think
that they're gonna I don't think that that's an option. Like,
I don't really see
realistically.
any realistic way that Very Very wins this show.
But I also think that Very Very knows that.
Yeah, I
Hopefully.
definitely think so.
So that they're just gonna try to get as many fans as they possibly can.
Mhm.
Be as like do as many things and like I don't know. They're gonna end up winning. Like Very Very is just so like they're a very new group. Nothing they do in this show will make them have less fans. So this no matter
Yeah.
what happens in this show, it's a win.
Yeah, they have nothing.
Yeah,
to
they're
lose.
tied for second youngest group of the show.
Because they debuted the same day as the other as another group that we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about.
Mhm.
They debuted the same day as us, guys. That's something I didn't even remember until we
Same
researched.
day.
That's pretty good. But yeah,
But
they
anyway, so
Oh.
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, they don't really have that much to lose since they don't really. We're talking about like how big their fan bases are and what their like branding and like images before this group, and
I don't think they have one.
that's the good thing. I think that's good. It's
Yeah.
like a positive for them. Like Pentagon and like the boys and like these big groups coming into this already have a fan base. They have a branding. They have expectations, and like they have like their fans' favorite concepts, their favorite members, and like it's like, oh my gosh, Kino didn't have enough screen time this one performance. Like that can happen, right? But with Very Very, the fact that they're so new that they don't have the same level of like expectation or even like group notoriety, they can do what they want and they have more freedom, I suppose, to just kind of do whatever they think is necessary to like show themselves off more and just like be a presence on the stage, as opposed to other people who kind of have to tiptoe around like, oh my gosh, this person didn't get enough lines again, or like those kinds of comments can definitely start happening, but it won't be as much of an issue.
And they will. I don't care if you have one fan. K-pop fans will always say that.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if they have like I
There'll
don't care
be
if it's like
people-
one girl in her bedroom and that's your only fan, or if it's someone's mom. There's always gonna be that comment from somebody.
There's gonna be people who like don't even know the group who watch a line distribution video and are gonna complain about how unfair it is.
Yeah.
True.
That just happens.
Oh lord, line distribution is just a fun topic.
Yeah.
We're not-
Oh boy, we can't go down that rabbit hole now.
No, it's too much of a tangent topic, but
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a very fun. If you guys want to hear us have a full full podcast about line distribution,
Mm-hmm.
recommend that because I feel like that'd be fun.
That does.
I have
would
like
be very
five line distributions. When we talked about bad line distribution, came straight into my brain.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like to get go ahead, finish.
Well, I was just gonna say we can transition into their
Oh yeah, I
Their
was gonna say-
performances, yeah.
Their first performance was
They're one of the groups that I don't think you can't tell what song
Yeah,
they're
that's what I was-
doing. It
that's
seems
what I
just
was-
like an
Another one.
intro.
it's
Yeah.
an
And it's
intro.
good.
It is good. They're
It's good.
It's
It's a
good.
good-
I enjoy it. It's that like aggressive boy
dance.
group style, sharp dancing,
Yeah.
almost like very like military, pseudo like aggressive military style K-pop boy group dancing. I like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
In that I could definitely see them doing those wearing those like pseudo military uniforms. Every K-pop boy group wears at some point.
Yep.
It's a rite of passage as well.
It's the rite of passage. You have to do. There's at least one concept where you have it. So like that, I enjoyed that teaser. Like
Mhm.
that teaser, I think is what I think they should be doing.
Yes.
If you all have opinions on that teaser before I transition to my thoughts on their second teaser,
They're probably my third favorite of the
first
the
teaser.
first teasers because
Yeah.
I really like that style of dance. That's very like
It's really
in
cool,
sync and
yeah.
like sharp like that. So just personally I like that style. So I
Yeah.
think I was really shocked by that too because I wasn't expecting to see that kind of performance out of Very Very. So I think that was also another reason why it might be one of my favorites.
Yeah. What is it? The formations were good. Dancing was good. Like the stage presence was really good. Like even the like editing and like camera work for the performance was really cool. Yeah, it was really I really enjoyed it. It was like nothing but positive to say about it. However,
Yep.
The
No.
second
The
teaser.
second
Oh
one.
boy.
So,
Oh,
who
no.
wants to start?
Can I start?
So first of
Go
all,
ahead.
I'll start.
they're covering
Okay,
Monse
so,
by 17.
yeah.
They're covering
And
Monse by 17.
To sort of put a thing on this,
Okay.
we don't know very, very, but 17 is my second favorite boy group,
And it's my
and Lucas
top 3
adores.
as well.
It's in his top 3, so we enjoy
We are very
17, and I don't
particular
mind.
about the Bible that is 17. So
It's not so much that. It's also the fact of like I think 17 is such a 17 does a lot of things with their own songs,
Mhm.
and like they've done mashups and weird versions and a bunch of things with their own songs that I think it's very difficult to cover a 17 song. It can be done, and I've seen it done,
Yes.
but it
definitely
needs to be
possible.
done a very particular way.
Golden
Especially
Child
if
has
you're gonna
covered
change it.
17 very well before.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
especially if you're gonna change it, it needs to be done a very particular
Mhm.
way. So, Lucas, go off.
Sadly-
Here we go.
Okay.
Go off.
First of all, I'll say I love Monse. Monse is probably one. It's up there. It's like it's a very good title track from 17, and it has a very particular vibe. It has a very particular sound and emotion that you feel, and sadly, I don't want to say they disrespected the song or that they like
That's
took
harsh.
away. That
That's
is
too
harsh.
harsh.
That is harsh.
That's too
But they
harsh, Lucas.
Very
That's
harsh.
too harsh.
That is way
Even
too
though
harsh.
7,
But they changed it in a way that, because the thing was is they were still doing the same dance, because you can't not do the dance for Monse because it's iconic and amazing. But the vibe of the background track that they put over the lyrics and dance of Monse was so different and so like kind of perpendicular to what they were like doing that it just felt so off and so weird. Like their vocals and the like actual their like dancing performance was like not anything like super horrible. Like it was okay. Like I didn't have a problem with it. The problem was that they were performing one song and the background track was a different song. It's like they decided to say like, all right, we're gonna sing and perform Monse, but then the people in the sound technician booth just hit the wrong MP3. Just put another song that just so happened to have the same BPM. That's
the
what
other thing I want to talk about, because I think you're right, and you basically said everything to say, even though be like 17 is just sort of a group that I think 17 could find a way to make this type of concept for Monse work.
Yeah, if
but
17
I think 17
did this style of Monse, they could pull it off easily.
But I think the reason for that is that 17 knows this song like the back of their hand, because guess what? They made this song, it's their song. And 17 does covers, and when 17 does a cover or when 17 changes their song, it's so tight and perfect that it's like, well, now anyone that covered the song is just gonna have the highest bar imaginable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even though like Monse is for me one of my least favorite 17 title tracks, but then again, when everything's a 10, the 9.5 is just gonna look a little bit worse in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of how I view it. But like, I think that they are just what I see with Very Very is that can I transition to who we're comparing them to on Queendom?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, because it will make sense here.
It will make a great. So what I see happening with Very Very, and this is sort of who we have equated them to on Queendom, is Lovelies, where they are trying to do a different concept. And sometimes it works, like in their first teaser where they did that style of dance, which they haven't done before. And sometimes it won't work, like what they did with Monse. And that's a very similar thing to what Lovelies did on Queendom, where they were the cutesy girl group. They were like the lovely girls that were trying to do this other concept. And it, at times it'll work, at times it won't.
Yeah, I saw this Monse cover and immediately had like flashbacks to Lovely's Achu cover, where they tried to turn Achu into
which is
like
their own song,
mature song, into this like mature sounding song. It just does not work at all, and that's exactly what they did with Monse. Is I either feel like they had to change the choreography completely to it, because in order for the choreography to match the song, they just need different choreography, because the choreography to Monse is so cute and it's so upbeat and happy that you can't just take that one for one, shove it into this different version of the song where it's like a different genre now.
Mhm.
They either had to do that or they just had to stick to the really like cute, fun style that
Yeah.
Monse is.
But
Yep.
my other thing was is like even their facial expressions and their like the way
They're
they
trying to
performed
make it hard.
It
It's
was like
weird,
it was
yeah.
a weird combination. Like you would see sometimes they would
bizarre.
have like super happy faces, like when they're doing the
kicking.
kicking stuff,
Mhm.
and they have like these super cute smiles, and then they move around, and now they're like trying to be serious and stuff, and it's like just
Yeah.
it felt so like disconnected. Like they would like,
Also-
try and do one thing and then try and do another thing.
This is a nitpick. This is entirely a nitpick.
I
But-
approve nitpicks.
It needs to be said because I've been rewatching this teaser as we've been talking about it. Why did they make Monse navy themed? Because I was looking at the uniforms they're wearing, and then when they show the background, for some reason there's a ship.
Huh.
I'm like, why
Oh.
is this navy themed?
That is
Somehow
weird.
I think they're supposed to be in the
That's-
Navy.
That's kind of bizarre.
That
It's
is
like a
bizarre.
pseudo Titanic looking ship
Oh,
just
that's
on
really-
the screen in the background.
Huh.
And I'm like,
That's
why
so
is this
weird.
Navy themed? That just is something I noticed as I watched after like the 10th time watching it. So that's a weird nitpick I have.
Uh-huh.
I think it's to make it so that they could wear these outfits and it would kind of make sense.
Yeah,
But,
I
like,
get that.
I don't know.
That's
If
weird.
you watch
yeah.
the teaser, there's a ship.
That's just
and
like
waves.
another level on top of like the dissonance that's happening in this cover
Of the
already.
why?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have Hui with the guitar
Oh
and
man.
This-
very, very joining the Navy. Or being like, it's
Joining
either
the
that-
Navy with 17's Monse, like
apparently. It's either that or they're like waiters on the Titanic. I'm 50-50 on it because they're also wearing ties. I'm like, it's either they're joining the Navy or they're waiters on the
this
Titanic.
just keeps getting more bizarre. Like the more we look into it.
Also, the background dancers come out with flags, so I'm like, damn, it's gonna get weird.
It does straight up look like there's like the Titanic sinking in the background.
Yeah, it's the Titanic. I think it might be the actual Titanic,
Yeah,
but
Oh,
that's just
man.
weird.
that's really weird. Oh my
That's just
god,
something I noticed
Wha-
after like the
that's a-
10th time
that's
watching
a
it.
choice.
Like, that's not Very Very's fault. That was someone else's decision.
Yeah,
That's nothing on Very Very. We like Very Very a lot, but like that was a
That
choice that
was a
somehow now
choice.
makes me confused.
oh god. Okay.
The quality Road to Kingdom commentary, us noticing the background visuals.
we have to nitpick. That's
Yep.
our job.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But yeah,
That's what we're here to do. We're all super hyped. And the only
Yes.
thing we've had to do is watch these teasers over and
ooh,
Look, we're all in quarantine. That's all we have.
Yep.
there's nothing else. But yeah,
Yeah, to
anything else you wanna
timestamp
mention?
ourselves.
Yeah. What?
Oh, yeah, it's just timestamp ourselves for when people listen to this years in the future that we're recording this during coronavirus global.
Global
Global
pandemic.
pandemic, social distancing.
Okay.
Yay.
Anything else to talk about? Very, very.
No, I just
I don't
hope
think
that
so.
I just hope that if they're gonna go down this route, it hits more than it misses. But I think
Yeah.
that this is the perfect opportunity because this is not them trying out all these concepts in a comeback and it
Yeah.
failing. So like I
like-
think that at the same time, this is like the perfect place for them to try all these concepts and maybe
Yeah.
one will hit like big.
Yeah, in the same way I give Lovely's credit for at least attempting different concepts and trying to have growth out of the show. I mean, I also give that to Very for at least trying to do these different types of things because they are still a very young group in the K-pop industry. So I mean, this is the time for them to be trying out all these different stuff anyway.
And I think I think it's gonna work out for them pretty well. I think they're
Mhm.
gonna do well.
Yep.
They're not gonna win. They're probably not even gonna be. I'm betting now, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope all of these groups have like a moment that like goes viral and solidifies a fan base for them. But I
Mhm.
can see Very Very being a group that does consistently pretty well and that like garners a couple fans and like people don't remember Very Very as being disappointing. They're like, oh no, they're pretty good.
Right.
I hope they
I
have like a
hope- I
moment that
hope
goes
for that
viral.
for
I hope
them, yeah.
everyone has a moment.
Mhm.
Get the 2020 boom boom.
Yeah, so the next group we're going to talk about is The Boys. So The Boys debuted in December of 2017 under Crackers Entertainment. I guess that's how
Sure.
you pronounce their company name. Sure.
Close
They don't have
enough.
any other K-pop groups. The Boys was their first notable group from the company. They started off as 12 members, but now they have 11. There's Hwall left. I don't really know why. I think it was
injury?
personal
I
reasons.
think it was an injury. He had a
Oh, wasn't
ankle, it was an ankle
I think it was
injury.
I would think it was an ankle injury. He went on hiatus, back
Yeah.
for personal reasons.
So
Yeah.
It was like he got
I knew it wasn't a
injured and then he
scandal
left.
or anything.
No,
I knew it was
No,
probably
it wasn't
like
a
a
scandal.
personal. Yeah, it was gonna be like a personal reasons type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he injured his ankle, and then I think he was gone for like a couple months, and then he was just like, yeah,
Just gonna leave. Yeah.
Just not coming back.
Mm-hmm. Probably just like take care of his health and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do the dances anymore, I think he said, and then he was like, "There's."
Which is sad.
That's sad.
Eh,
The Boys have good performances, so
They do.
they're very good performances. We'll get
Mhm.
there.
we'll get there.
Yeah. So some notable survival variety shows from them is Joo Hyun was in Produce 101 season 2, and he finished in 19th place on that show, so pretty good. And then Kevin was also in K-pop Star 6, and Sunwoo was in High School Rapper, but both of them were eliminated fairly early in each of those shows, so there isn't really a lot to say about either of them for both of those shows. And then some of their notable songs, their debut song was called Boy, very appropriately. And then some of their other title tracks are Giddy Up, Nowhere, Tattoo, Bloom Bloom Keeper, and then Reveal, which is their most recent song. And then some of their B-sides from them that I really like are Salty, Just You, LOU, Only One, and Clover. And then the Boys are also the second group on this of the groups that are on Road to Kingdom that has also had a music show in before. And they got their first win with Bloom Bloom on this show.
Is that their only win, or do they have other ones?
I don't know if they have other wins. I feel like
I
they
think
do.
it was.
Did they
I
get one
feel
for
like they've
Reveal?
had like.
I feel like they
Oh.
have multiple.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me.
I don't
let me
remember
go-
Tattoo getting any, but I'm pretty sure.
Tattoo was never promoted. Tattoo's technically a Japanese single,
Is it?
even though it's in Korean.
Dance
Reveal
Dance
didn't.
had to have
Reveal
gotten a
didn't
couple.
get any. Right now.
Dance Dance got some, right? I feel like it did.
Hold on. I'm seeing the Bloom Bloom. I'm seeing the all I'm seeing is the one for Bloom Bloom.
Is that it?
Hmm.
That sucks.
That might be it.
It might be it then.
That sucks.
They have
This-
one more than Pentagon.
Yeah, I mean, them
That's
and
one more than
Golden
Pentagon.
Child both only have one. Yeah.
Which is weird.
I was
Mhm.
expecting.
I feel
more.
like it's bad timing. Because I
I-
feel like a lot of these. Because I feel like a lot of these.
Reveal was really bad timing.
Reveal was bad timing. I think that a lot of these groups just suffer from bad timing.
Yeah,
Pentagon
Where
is
it's like-
epitome of bad timing.
Oh, Pentagon has terrible timing. Every
Cube
single
has
time
got
they
to
have a
figure
concert.
that shit out better because they.
But then
could've
again,
gotten
I
a
also
group
feel
win
like
if Kevin
CLC has
comebacks
terrible
better.
timing. So I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just the
Cube's gotta figure
Cube
that out.
lane. The only reason G-Idol doesn't have bad timing is because that they're big enough that their
They
timing
don't.
doesn't
That
matter.
doesn't matter for them. Yeah.
They're the reason other groups move.
Yep. Does anyone have any other sort of thoughts on the Boys before we get
I
into
like
their
The Boys.
teasers?
I
Yeah,
like the
I like them
boys.
too.
I think the boys
Yeah.
have a lot of energy. It's a group that like I'm not super familiar with like their members or like their
Mhm.
pre-debut or anything like that, but like I do like them and I think that they're fun and funny and like there's different little things that I know about them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just a group that like you've heard of, you know of, and like
Yeah.
their title tracks or something I always check out.
Yeah.
And like and I'll listen to like the album after it comes out and they'll have a couple standout title tracks. But it's not a group that I like actively quote unquote
listen to
stand.
listen to everything.
Yeah.
they make.
Yeah. Or
I'm
like listen
definitely
to it
the
religiously.
same.
They're part of a playlist, but I don't ever
Yeah.
like I'm gonna
Right.
spend all day listening to the boys.
Yeah.
The two important things I know about the boys is that they have a member named Kevin, and I love him. Kevin is my favorite.
Just because his name is Kevin, people. He doesn't
no,
love Kevin for his
no, I love
personality.
his vocals
He
are
kind
super
of
cool.
loves
I really like his vocals.
Originally, this was all because he was obsessed with the fact that there was a K-pop idol named Kevin,
But
even
then I
though
found
he's
out
not
you
even the
kissed
first.
Kevin.
Kevin.
There was
I
a
found
Kevin
about
in
you
K-pop way beforehand.
I found about You Kiss Kevin and was like, oh, okay, cool. But there's an active K-pop member whose name is Kevin, and I love that. And then I found more about him, and I found out I actually did love him. And they added to the K-pop alphabet with Q.
Yep.
And that's pretty cool.
The ever-growing K-pop alphabet.
Yep.
I mean, so did Golden Child.
Yeah,
Golden Child has Y.
Y.
Why? Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, those are the two most important facts you need to know about the boys. You heard it here.
Those are the two things you know
They have a
about
member named
Golden.
Kevin,
Yeah.
and they added to the
About the
K-pop
boys.
alphabet. That's it.
They also got an Eric and a Jacob for the
Eric and Jacob, yeah.
Eric
for
and Jacob.
those
I love
American-
Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob is my bias.
I like
in-
Jacob.
in the boys, I
Jacob.
love Jacob.
Also, Eric is really cool. He's the rapper. That's really good, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think the boys is a group that like we all know
We know
enough
of,
about.
and,
It's,
like,
we know
I
of.
have a weird thing with the boys. So I watched Produce 101 season 2 and actively disliked Joo Hyun during the show when I
Really?
watched it. Yeah.
What?
He's
Why?
okay, so he's got a really weird segment that involves a member of One Us actually. Where it was in like the second round where they're doing a dance performance. Also in this group was Hwaesung of N Flying, which is fun.
Just
And also-
apparently different people from all
And
these groups that
also-
would eventually.
there's a guy who was in the Reigns who was the leader of this group too.
Oh Lord.
I don't remember his name right now, but I remember I actively like him on the show. But anyway, they had a really big fight over who was going to be the center of the group because the leader wanted it to be Lan Moon. I don't know his actual stage name in One Us, but that's like the name he was like actual name on the show. He wanted him to be the center, and he did a fantastic job of being the center. But Joo Hyun was like really upset about that, and like was struggling with the
So that would have
choreography
been,
hardcore. And it was just he was causing like a lot of distraction from the group, and then every single person in the group except for him got eliminated. And I was
Lord.
I was really upset because Hwaesung from N Flying was like one of my favorite people on that show at the time. And
So
so
there's a couple
yeah.
members of One Us. This could be.
it's his name is Wan Woong. I don't know his
Oh.
like what the stage name of One
Let
Us
me
is.
look this up.
Right.
But
No, keep talking.
I
I'm gonna look it up.
actively did not look into the boys for several comebacks after their debut because I did
Only
not
because
like
of
him.
that Mnet editing.
I did not like him, and then I think it was honestly Giddy Up. I think that I started looking into them because I really liked that song, and then I just kept following their title tracks afterwards and just like stopped caring. So
Wait, hold on. Who is this?
his Wan Woong, and
Yeah,
For
that's
us.
his name. That's his
that's
name
just
in
his
One Us.
stage name. Okay,
That
cool.
is
I
his
didn't know if he had
name.
a stage name.
Sorry about
Cool.
that.
Alright, to their trailers.
Cool.
Sorry, talk about their trailers.
So their teasers.
Or
One,
teasers.
I'm gonna spoil it right now. The boys had the best of the first round of
Yes,
teasers.
100%.
Oh,
The best
easily.
one.
Easily.
I have no idea what song that this is gonna be an intro to because it's so like
Good.
different.
Good.
I mean, the boys' songs are good, but it's so different than anything they've done. Like
It
just
reminds me of the Oh My Girl Destiny performance.
yes, yes, it does.
Mhm.
I would not actually be surprised if that's kind of where they took inspiration from
Oh,
because that was
yeah,
the most
for
iconic
sure.
thing that came out of Queendom. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Most iconic thing
Mhm.
that came out of Queendom was that Destiny performance.
But also, spoiler if you haven't seen the teaser, they have a freaking sword and it's cool, and they do a lot of cool stuff. There's
Big
a
back
Spoiler if
sword.
you didn't watch. Spoiler if you didn't watch this 53-second teaser.
There's a sword.
There's a sword.
There is a
it's cool.
sword and a jump,
Yes.
and the person that jumps catches the sword.
It's really cool.
It's really
Like
cool.
this, the song actively confuses me because I have no idea what it's gonna be an intro
Yeah,
to.
this is another
The
group where we
closest
have
thing
no
it
idea
remind-
what the song is.
Nope. The closest thing it reminds me to, and I did show this to you guys, is that if anyone remembers the short-lived show Hit the Stage from 2016, when Bora from Sistar was on it, she had a dance.
What a deep cut.
And it reminded me of that. It came
a
into
really
my
deep
brain.
cut.
That's
This
so
is
deep.
just what sometimes things associate in my brain weirdly. Somehow I remembered subconsciously this 2016 performance I haven't watched in years. I'm also a massive fan of Sistar, guys.
Okay. But anyway, their first performance was definitely our favorite of the first round. It
Mhm.
was.
It's just so good.
so
It's so
clean-
good.
It's so clean and just like well executed, and everything is just.
It shows character and personality, and
Mhm.
like it's I talked about stunts earlier, and I'm like, this choreography works so well. If you took out all of the stunts, this choreography works perfectly well. And then you add stunts to it, and it works even better.
Yes.
It's the perfect way to use stunts and lifts and jumps in your choreography.
Yes.
When you have a solid choreography that this adds to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love it.
And so in their second teaser, they
Slightly less good.
slightly less good. They're covering Taemin's Danger. Which, I mean, it's still a good cover.
It's still
It's
good,
just pretty. It's pretty
It
generic.
is. I just find it very interesting when they decide to give a soloist song to a group. Because that always is a little weird to me because you're always dealing with like a song that is sung by one person now having to be divided up between multiple people,
Mhm.
which have different voices and different tones.
It is. It's definitely an interesting choice, and then
It is a
also into
choice.
all sing a single person choreography into now a group choreography, and the boys has like 11 people in it. So I mean, that's a really big change you have to
I
make for
like it
that.
though.
It's good.
They
It's
didn't do too like it.
like it's
Like
not
it's
actively
not.
bad like some groups. It's not
No,
actively bad.
it's not actively
just
bad.
it's just
It's a little bit
it's pretty
safe.
generic. Yeah.
It's safe. It's very safe to me. It's like they're not super changing the song. They're not super changing the choreo. I mean,
Mhm.
they're obviously making it a choreo for 11 people, but it's not like super
It's not like massively different or anything.
massively different, but
the
it's also not
vibe of
massively
yeah.
interesting.
The
Even
vibe of
though
the
I think,
song is still
yeah,
very much the same.
yeah. It just seems like a good, especially when compared to their first teaser, which was so different and like amazing. This
Mhm.
one is just like, oh, but you can still do this. This is good. This is what you do, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's very The Boys.
Yeah, I'll agree. It's them doing what they're good at and
Mm-hmm.
picking a song that maybe not a lot of people would think of to cover.
No,
Obviously, since it's
I
a
would not
soloist.
think of,
Yeah,
even with songs called Danger. This is not the first song I would think to have them cover.
yeah, but it's very what's it called? There's a word I'm trying to think. They really took a risk trying to do it, and I think it didn't pay off as much as I think they hoped it would. But I definitely have no like ill will
The
against it. It's still
Yeah.
I still really think it's good.
What I can hope for and what I think that it can really show is that the the boys are probably one of my favorite of the dancers.
Yeah, I
Just a
agree.
group that can dance very, very well. I think the boys has that advantage, and I think covering a Taemin choreography, no matter what choreography, Taemin just blows it out of the water. So covering anything that Taemin does obviously requires a level of skill, and I
Mhm.
think that they are actually meeting it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree for sure.
So overall, I think our thoughts are the first one was
The
Better.
best.
exemplary, like perfect, like really well. Like that's what we want to see from them. And the second one, not as good, but still very respectable, and we still definitely enjoyed it.
Respect it, and they're
Yeah.
showing quality, which is why we compared them to. Oh, go ahead.
Oh well, I was just gonna say it's like it's still a teaser, and we're already seeing them like taking risks and like trying to like.
I
show
mean, all
stuff.
of these are teasers. Like,
Yeah.
take everything we're saying with a
Yeah.
grain of salt because when we actually, because we're gonna do recaps for the actual shows and performances. So, like, when we see the actual performance, this performance might blow us out of the water, and they decided to show the least interesting bit of it.
Right.
Mnet editing is not usually
Mnet editing
great.
is weird. It's
not-
not good.
It's
I
not
mean,
good.
look at what it made
Oh,
Kayla think
boy.
about The Boys.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's probably a very sweet boy.
Yeah, I imagine.
Oh, for sure he is.
But this is actually why our Queendom comparison for The Boys is Mamamoo. A group
Yeah.
that was
I think
solid
that's easy.
throughout, had some moments where they were like very, very good, but for the most part, solid.
Mhm. I also think that the boys are the most popular group coming into the show and
Yeah,
are the probably have the highest chance of winning because of
at
that.
least in Korea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna compare.
In Korea, the boys are way beyond the others on this show.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
they're
gonna
very
say,
popular.
In Korea, who's more popular, like, Pentagon the boys.
The
And I
Boys.
think the
It's
boys.
the boys.
I don't
The
know
The
if
boys
Boys.
sell way more than Pentagon.
I will mention that I think on average the age of the average the boys fan is going to be a bit lower than.
I mean,
Pentagon.
like the same way as in the West, like boy bands, especially in Korea, have a younger fan base.
Mhm.
Whereas I
Mhm.
think that K-pop fans in the West tend to maybe skew a little bit older. Not much older, but at least not in their early teens, maybe to like their late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all in our 20s. We're all basically like, we're
Mhm.
not the youngest of all K-pop fans.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So I'm looking up sales numbers
Oh, really?
for both of these groups. Also, every time I Google Pentagon, it is just the Pentagon.
The
Oh.
U.S.
That comes-
Pentagon.
Yeah.
Or the
So,
shape.
like, no,
The
it's the
shape.
US Pentagon.
not the
So-
shape. You just look up. It just has a line
It
drawing
just
of a
shows
pentagon.
a shape.
It just shows a shape.
A shape.
So, like, Pentagon's selling, like, their last albums, they're around, like their last album sold 56,000 copies. It's around, like, 50s, 30s, 20s. And then the Boys Reveal sold 85,000 copies.
Okay, that's a definite.
And then all of their other ones are like Dreamlike sold 112.
Okay.
The Only Show 132. Like they're selling a lot more than
Yeah.
Are these Korean
then-
numbers or international?
they're just. I mean, international numbers always go toward because they're not international albums. They all go sale.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
So like I think on average, like the Boys is at least in terms of sales numbers selling better than Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm, take that with a grain of salt, obviously because of popularity, but like
Right.
they're the two most popular groups, I would say, by
Yeah.
far.
Definitely.
So yeah, we're gonna predict them to win most. I think they have the best chance if they.
Of winning,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
probably.
probably.
Yeah.
They have
It would-
the most they have the longest like head start, right? So they have like all of the
And honestly, I think with time, the Boys, I mean, they're very new. They're not that old.
yeah.
And I think that they just have that ability to possibly make it to actual Kingdom,
Mhm.
Oh,
even just with a
easily.
little bit more time.
Yeah.
And like their fan base has been growing with each release.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what they can really do now is just solidify it. That's kind of what I would think the Boys is trying to do, just like solidify their fan base to be like loyal. And if you get a loyal fan base, you can do this for 20 years. Look at Shinhwa.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mhm.
And then next.
We have ONEUS, the other group that debuted the same day as Very Very 2019.
God, good job.
Yep. They're under RBW Entertainment, the same company as Mamamoo and Romance and OneWe. And OneWe is actually their brother group. So like they are the boy group, like they're the dance group portion, and then OneWe is the band portion. And actually they each have one of a set of twins, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
they have 6 members, no former members, all there, thriving, living their best lives. Here's the thing with reality shows. ONEUS has basically done every reality, at least one member of ONEUS has done every reality show. Raven is former JYP, YG, and Plan A trainee, was supposed to debut under Victon before he left Plan A. And he was a contestant on Mix 9. Soho was a contestant on Produce 101 Season 2 and Mix 9. Lido auditioned for Mix 9 but didn't pass the auditions. Konghae was a contestant on Produce 101 Season 2. And then this is a tongue twister. Kwanwon?
Kwanwoong?
Kwanwoong?
Yes.
Sure. Was a Produce 101 Season 2 contestant and a finalist of the Pleatus Hot debut in 2013, so he was also a potential 17 member. Xion didn't participate in any survival shows, but he is the one in the set of twins with the member of One We. I just wanted to mention him because I mentioned everybody else. All right.
He's a twin. That's
He's
his
the twin.
specialty.
Yeah, he's the twin.
He has telepathic abilities.
With his twin, yes.
Mhm.
So notable songs: Valkyrie was their debut song, Twilight, and Lit. And then their most recent song was a song written easily. Wait, no. A song easily written. That's what it's
Yes.
called.
Oh
the
yes,
title.
that's it.
That's the title. That's the long tongue twister of a title. And then for B-sides, they have a lot of really good B-sides, guys. Zigzag, Red Thread, English Girl, Bang Bang, Plastic Flower, which is my favorite of their songs, Level Up, and Stand Up, all amazing songs.
Mhm.
So like I really like One Us ever since debut, and I've like been following them, and they've been really
Mhm.
enjoyed everything they've put out. And I think that they just have, I don't know, I've just really enjoyed them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've actively really, really liked every single one of their comebacks that they've had so far. A song easily written took me a little bit to get into, but I now really like that song a lot. And I had inadvertently followed a lot of them pre-debut through all of the survival shows that they had
Oh,
to
God.
suffer through.
It's so many.
So sorry.
It's a lot. Having watched Produce 101 season 2 and Mix 9, it's like that's a rough 2 shows to have to get through.
Also, especially the people that had to do both. Jesus Christ.
Oh man, yeah. That's a rough time.
And didn't make
That's a
either of
really
them.
rough time.
And didn't make it in either group. That's
Oh
depressing.
man, that's so sad. That's really sad. But they're doing great now.
Oh, yeah,
They're
no, they're
a
doing
group
good.
now, and they're
Living their best
making
life.
They're living
fantastic
their
music.
best lives.
Yeah.
Making great music,
Mhm.
being wonderful people. I love
Mhm.
them.
Yes.
They're really good.
But yeah, if we want to talk about their teasers,
Their teasers, I'm so sad with
Hmm.
their teasers a little bit.
It's
So
a
their
little
first
sad.
teaser, so it's like multiple of their songs. They started out with Twilight.
mhm. Their first one wasn't it that it was Phantom of the Opera, right? It started
It's
It's
out.
very
Phantom of the
Phantom of the
Opera
Opera.
themed, and it's
Yeah.
like they're doing Twilight.
Yeah,
Twilight.
they're doing Twilight,
Yeah.
but like with Phantom of the Opera, like music.
They just got like mass for some reason. Yeah,
Yeah, I enjoy it.
It's
a
good.
little. It's one of the more basic teasers in that they go straight into just doing their choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
I
think
think
that's
that's
what a
what
lot of
really.
them are gonna do.
Yeah,
I think that we just didn't see it in that in the
it
full
is not.
performance.
It's not actively bad. It's like we've said that multiple times. Like this is not one of the ones that's actively bad.
We've
But
talked
it's
about a few of the ones that are actively
yeah.
bad.
This is not
This
one of
is
those.
one of the
Mhm.
basic.
It's fine.
And if the worst thing you are is basic, you're doing very well.
That's
And
better
also,
than
I also
some.
want to point out that at the same time that this was probably being recorded, One Us is actively doing promotions for a song easily written. So like
Mhm.
they're also dealing with like doing this show, promoting this, figuring out all of this,
Oh, we should also say
and
that
doing promotions.
I forgot who it is. It's One Us and I think Very Very that are also on that other
Yeah.
show, Dancing
They're-
Idol.
Yep.
So
So,
they're
like, they're
doing so One
doing-
Us is doing promotions and 2 survival shows at that's not
Yep,
really a
at
survival
the
show,
s-
the other show, but they're doing 2 shows at once.
Yeah, they're doing a lot.
That sounds like
Mhm.
stress.
Yeah. So like I can understand like I kind of give them a pass for being a little bit like
Yeah.
more on like the safe side where they're just trying to get through this and not like actively embarrass themselves.
Very Very again. They like just finished up promotions and then went into
Yeah.
like the double shows too.
Double
so.
shows.
Mhm.
Also, I live for a good Phantom of the Opera reference.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It was nice. They at
I
least
enjoy it.
They at least attempted to make it a little bit more
And I think
interesting than
that-
just their choreography. So I'll give them that too.
And the other thing is I think that I think a lot of groups are going to fall into that, and I just think very shorter intro.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the intro kind of took up the entire teaser for other people, and I think they just had a shorter intro. And I think it's
Yeah.
different, and it shows that they are able to do something. And I like that they did Twilight for this because I almost think it fits with that Phantom of the Opera theme.
Yeah.
I think that fits the best of their songs. Yeah.
I
'Cause, like,
mean, they don't
the
have
video's,
many
like, in front of
options.
the freaking like mansion, and they're all wearing like
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So it's definitely the same vibe, and I agree with it.
I could picture the Phantom living in that mansion.
I think if they went for a different concept, I think Lit would have made a really interesting song.
Lit would have been
Yeah.
interesting, but I also
Yeah.
think that would have. I don't know if they knew about what everybody was doing, but I feel like that
Then
could
we
have
would
done them
be
a lot of
putting them,
comparison
yeah,
to the
direct
boys.
comparison to the boys, and if they were worse than the boys, then it was just gonna
Which,
be.
no offense, but like the boys
They
was
probably
so
were gonna be
good.
worse than the boys, yeah.
The boys was so good. I can't imagine like anyone topping it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know.
Their
I'm
second one was.
They're doing which song?
It's kind
It's HOT?
it's by HOT.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's what is it called? Warriors Descendant. That's the
Okay.
song. Yep.
Okay.
Here is the biggest problem with this teaser. And it's something at first I didn't notice. But the most interesting we had this conversation about backup dancers a couple groups ago.
We did.
But I'm sorry, when your backup dancers, this has two of the problems we talked backup dancers and the most interesting part of this dance is the stunts.
Mhm.
And no offense, but the group isn't even doing the stunts, it's the backup dancers. So the backup dancers are doing the most interesting part of the entire performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good when your backup dancers are carrying the entire performance and you're just kind of
Yep.
like sitting there. They're just they don't really do anything, sitting at the desks and then they
Getting
get up
up.
and leave, and then that's really all they
Then
do
their
the
backup
entire
dancers, yeah.
performance.
Their backup dancers
But
come
the
do
rapping-
like backflips and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, cool, backflips by
Yep.
random people that we don't know. Yes, I love your group.
Yep. The
Yep.
the four back, like I think the rapping was pretty good,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah,
think
that's
that
fine.
I think that the performance actually has potential.
Mhm.
The biggest problem is that you're being outshined by random backup dancers doing the stunts. And I
Yeah.
think that if they just sort of, and it's very hard to do good choreography behind a prop, but then get rid of the prop.
Yeah. Very true.
Mhm.
Like I think that it's just a logistical issue, and I think that whoever choreographed this, I don't want to say was actively trying to sabotage them, but dear God, I think they were actively trying to sabotage
Oh gosh.
them. I'm putting that out there.
Oh lord.
Maybe.
That's a conspiracy theory.
I'm sorry, who thought that that was a good idea?
Yeah.
They don't dance in this teaser almost
They
at all.
do not dance. Pentagon almost dances more than they do.
Yikes.
Yeah, but I will say,
It's just weird.
it's-
This was a
yeah, it's so depressed.
It's sad.
I'm just like I said with Pentagon. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed because
That's gonna be a running theme of I think the Road to Kingdom podcast is it's gonna be I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
because we genuinely love these groups. I want them to do well, and they have the ability. Who the fuck is actively trying to sabotage them? Is it their company?
Ugh.
Like, what's happening? Because I'm like, who thought that that was a good idea? I don't think they choreographed this.
They probably didn't.
yeah. I don't
So I'm
imagine.
like, what?
They definitely don't have the time to choreograph it right now.
Not at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe they were tired. Maybe they needed maybe they thought the first week we'll do something simple. Hopefully the next couple weeks. Hopefully this is a bad teaser and they pull it out and do like a triple axel, like a triple
Yeah,
backflip, and do some.
They
something
actually do
insane.
the backflip,
Yeah, I would definitely not put it past Mnet to do horrible editing and just be like, oh, their backup dancer did a backflip. Oh, that's cool. Let's put that in there. And then the rest of the performance is good. Like, that's
Yep.
definitely something that could have happened. But
Mhm.
But it's just like it's also such a long it's a long clip. It's 40 seconds. Like I'm assuming this is about a 3-minute song.
yeah,
Mhm.
If they didn't that's like at least almost a third of the performance. So I'm like,
Ugh.
I hope that it's bad editing, but it's like I hope that they do better in a different they do more.
Mhm.
I hope so too. So we're also saying that ONEUS is probably not one of the most popular groups in this, but also definitely not one of the
They're very new,
they're new, but they're not like
but they're
a lot
popular
of
enough.
they're pretty popular. Lit did really well. Valkyrie, their debut did really well, and their most recent comeback, it was like okay. It wasn't
a song written easily.
yeah, it was like not like a breakout, but it was definitely like a staple in their like it'll be like a staple in their discography, but it's not going to be like a oh this is what blew them up or like oh this is horrible. It was like
I
just a
think
definitely
I feel
good.
like One Us is one of those groups that could definitely have. They just need that one song.
Yeah,
They need a
Yeah,
song that's
they
gonna
do.
like blow them up, and I
yeah.
think they could get it. I just
Mm-hmm.
think, and that could like be amazing. Like, they did a cover on that other show, Dancing Idol. They did a cover of 2PM's My House.
Oh, that was
That
amazing. That
That was
cover.
amazing.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
They have like, if you like, and the thing that they're doing so many shows and they're trying to get this fan base, but I think that shows that they can dance. That shows that they don't need to rely on stunts, don't need to rely on backup dancers. They can just. I think the problem also might be that this song might not have great choreography because it's an HOT song from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, they probably had to create a choreography for
a
it.
lot of choreography.
Is what I would assume, yeah.
Whereas 2PM has just their great choreography. It's 2PM.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think they're expected to win, but I think they're still expected to do pretty respectably. Correct?
I think they're gonna do
Yes.
pretty well. I think they're gonna do pretty well, which is
Mhm.
actually why we compared them to. This
They
is the
are
other
the
group that we had to compare to
second
AOA.
half of AOA.
Yeah, we had to compare them. Two people had to be AOA.
Yeah. I think it makes sense that it's On and Off. Or
Yeah.
ONF and One Us.
Yeah, I think that they have a lot to gain,
Mhm.
and I think that between this and Dancing Idol,
Mm-hmm.
like they just need one breakout performance. I think
Yeah.
they just need some, and they're giving themselves as many opportunities as they can.
Yep.
The only thing I hope is that they're not overdoing it and overworking themselves, whereas everything's gonna end up being fine.
Just like,
Whereas
yeah.
if they focused on one show, they could have a spectacular, blow the roof off performance.
Yeah, it is possible that they start spreading themselves too thin, that it doesn't give them any realistic chance of like doing well on any of the shows that they're in right now, which would be sad, but it's
Yeah.
definitely a possibility.
Yeah, while doing promotions, it's definitely going to be tough for them to
Mm-hmm.
have all of the energy to do everything at the same time. But yeah.
All right, we reached
One-
the Voldemort of the podcast.
The
Oh,
Voldemort
We're
of
here.
K-pop. We're
We
here.
are here.
oh no.
And it's the one group that we had Lucas look up because we
Yes.
each had a lot of other.
All right.
Yeah, and me and
Groups
Sammy
to
are more
look up.
familiar with the other groups on the show. And since they're
No
so
one
new,
was familiar
no one
with
wanted to look them up, so we assigned it to Lucas.
Just so
He
reference,
had one.
for reference, in
This is his
Discord,
one job.
This is my one job in our Discord. They gave me the title Resident Voldemort expert because
Resident 2 expert. It says
Resident.
2.
It doesn't. Actually says 2 in there.
Okay.
Resident 2 expert. We can
But-
say it now that we've reached this
Okay.
point.
And the last group is gonna be 2. 2 is debuted March 18th, 2020. So that was a month ago. As of recording, it'll be a month tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh
today's the
shit!
17th. So it'll be there
Happy
will be-
month anniversary
Happy month
to
anniversary
Bravo.
to-
Happy month anniversary.
I'm not that happy, but that's okay. They
Stop.
debuted.
Don't be mean.
Okay.
Don't
They
be mean to
debuted-
them.
I'm trying to speak. They debuted under NCH Entertainment, which is the same group as Nature. They have 10 members. They were supposed to debut with 11 members, according to the survival show that they were under. However, due to some according to a Reddit thread that I found, there was some fan pages that were promoting this story of Hanjun having some bullying scandal in high school, and they were posting about it, and then he ended up getting replaced in the final lineup. After the scandals, he was eventually replaced with Jaehoon. But they were the product of the Mnet survival show World Class, and they debuted with their song Magnolia a month ago tomorrow. Their notable songs is Magnolia.
Look, they have
they have
one.
one mini album with 4 songs on
Like
it.
5 songs?
4 or 5 songs on it.
4 or
So-
5
One
songs.
one is a cover.
So
One
and
is amazing
my
cover.
favorite
We love
my
it.
favorite song of theirs, and the
By
only
far.
B-side that is actually worth listening to, maybe. No, I'm joking. They're not that bad. We're just playing. Is they have a cover of "Can't Hurry Love," which was actually a cover of a cover, because technically, what's his name made a cover of a song from the 50s. But what's his name?
Phil Collins?
Phil Collins. So yeah, so it's a cover of Phil Collins.
Phil Collins, who's
Can't Hurry
covering
Love,
the Supremes.
who's covering the
Oh, wow.
Supremes. So technically, it's a cover of a cover, which is like an Inception
Hey.
level of covering songs. But I'm all for it because it's
I love it
very
so
funny.
much.
It's a
song.
good song.
It's a
It's a
great
good song.
song.
Which is
It's a good
one of the
cover.
biggest points that I will say about too is that their English is very good. They've done one of the biggest things they did on World Class is they did a bunch of English covers of a lot of songs. They did a lot of like
Didn't
choreographies.
they do one for Bad
They
Bad
did-
Guy?
They
one
did a
for
Bad Guy.
They did I have a list of some of them that I actually liked that I can pull up in a second. They did a bunch of English covers, so if you want to go check out a couple of them, they're pretty good.
There's playlists on YouTube.
There's a bunch of playlists
Yeah,
on YouTube.
you
that
can find them.
But yeah, most of their they have a lot of English covers, and they are very decent. I will also mention that if you want to see something fun, you can go to their company's website, which is
Oh, no.
nhcworld.com,
Oh, no.
which is the website for the company. So that's both Nature and 2. And I will mention that it is one of the worst designed websites I've ever seen. It is
It's
very
really
bad.
ugly.
They finally, after their debut, actually embedded YouTube videos into their website, which is a shocker
It was a-
because they didn't
it
do
was a
that before.
Oh,
Interesting
wow.
song.
So yeah, that's a thing that they did. Also, I opened the members tab to see all of the members in the website, and I sat there on their website for about 5 minutes, and none of the images loaded. So I don't know if they're just not there anymore, or if it's just my internet. But if you can find out if they're all of their profiles actually loaded, let me know, because I just saw a bunch of like weird stock images that were not correct.
Oh, yikes.
So
Oh.
that's just something to like let you know. But if you guys have any comments about 2.
We just have like zero expectations for 2 because neither of us like know them at all.
Neither
Like,
do
well,
I.
none of us,
None of us
no
watch
of
them.
us know them at all. And they literally hadn't debuted by the time they filmed this, or they had just debuted, like a day old group by the time that they were filming the show. And so it's like, what can you even really expect from them from this show to begin with? Like, they're just
mean,
so young.
They're babies, essentially.
Yeah, the
And I think
youngest member is a 2002 line, which is
But even
Bro.
with that, I think
Baby.
there's members of other groups that are probably 2002. I think it's just that they're a month old at this point. They have
Yeah.
zero experience. You're dealing with groups that have been a year, 2. Like, you see, if you compare their
Pentagon's going on
teasers-
4 years.
Pentagon's going on 4 years, but like, even if you compare it to One Us and Very Very, who are who are about a year and a couple months at this point, you see the growth that can happen in a year. You compare 2's teasers to anyone else's teasers, and you really see that, like, your first comeback, you're a baby. You're just so young. You're so inexperienced. You really don't know what you're doing because you've never done it.
Hmm.
I will mention that a couple of them are former trainees from other companies. I can find out which ones are which. I know one of them was a C9 trainee. Yep. Dongyeon was a C9 trainee. Then Chan was an SM trainee, and one was a Cube. Who's the Cube? JU? Cube?
So do we want to get into their...
And then Jerome was the Cube trainee. So
Jerome.
There's a member named Jerome.
There's
Yeah.
a member named Jerome.
his name is Jerome, and he's not the English speaker of the group, if you're wondering.
Oh wow.
I love it. I
There's
love
two
that
English speakers of the
Oh
group, and
my
Jerome
God.
is not it.
Jerome's not one of them.
Jerome is now my favorite random K-pop name.
Oh man.
But do you want to get into their teasers?
Yeah, we can talk about this.
So their first teaser is literally just them
Just-
performing Magnolia.
Look, it's all they have.
That's all they got going. That's literally all they can do.
It was also, I think, the first time anyone had
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because it's like it's one of the first times it was so new. They're babies. Like I
Mhm.
think that's and it's not bad. It's not
It's just super
you-
super generic, super average.
but also like they're you can tell they're a new group, and I think what this can do, and for like we have zero expectations for 2. No matter what happens in the show, 2 is gonna end up winning because of the exposure that they didn't have
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, whatever they're gonna gain from this show is gonna be good for them because if anything, it gives them the chance that just to even like work on their teamwork as a group, and they're gonna be able to do all these covers and just get practice working as a team, and they're gonna get more exposure from this because all the fans of these other groups are gonna be watching the show. So I think they can only come out of the show with like a net positive
They're
result.
only gonna gain.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that this really can also help the other groups in that it reminds you of like they're a new group. They're a baby group. And they remind me of a lot of like this is a debut song, this is a debut stage. It looked like a debut group.
Yeah, for sure.
And it really just also highlights how much these other groups have grown
Mm-hmm.
in the year, 2 years, 3 years, Pentagon
4 years.
going on 4 years.
Yep.
Jesus. Pentagon are old men at this point.
Old
Yeah.
men.
The thing that
Old hags for Pentagon.
Oh god. Yeah.
Hmm.
What is it? Freaking he's pushing 30, isn't he?
Oh,
Damn.
yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But that's the thing that I'm thinking about is like I don't want to say that their vocals or their rapping is bad because it's not. They're not.
Their vocals are pretty good,
Their
actually.
vocals are good. Their dancing is good. But I'm just thinking about it and like just thinking about 2 like performing, and it's like, oh, their vocalist has to like sing against Hui, and their rapper has to sing against like Jangjun or something like that, and it's just like, what,
Mhm.
what, how do you compete? Because it's just like people who have so much like past like experience and are just so like, or even like Wusung or anything like that, where it's just like they're just like presences, right? And people recognize them and they know what to expect, and they're just like
I
so
mean,
experienced, right?
I don't
Yeah,
think
I think-
anyone's expecting them to do amazing and win.
Yeah, of
No.
course. I don't think
They have
I
like
hope
a
they
0% chance of
aren't. I
winning the
hope they
show
aren't
unless
expecting to win.
Mnet pulls Mnet and they rig the show.
They are an Mnet group technically, so I don't know that. But
Yeah, they are an Mnet group.
But I think our feelings for 2 are pretty much summed up. Like why are they here? Like we obviously know that they're here because they're not Mnet group. And this is an Mnet show. But really, like, why are they on this show to begin with?
When you announce a group before they even debut
Yeah.
that they're gonna be on a show, we will have questions.
Mm-hmm. They really don't belong on this show. It could have gone to another one of the like underrated
there
boy
were
groups
there
who
were
could
other
really
groups
use
that
this
deserved it, yeah.
exposure.
But
yeah.
I can imagine that this is why in groups instead of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I think that's sort of why they added an.
They
As
were really
opposed to
just like shoehorned in here.
Yep.
Which for their
So
sake
we
I
want
feel
to talk about
bad.
their second.
It makes sense because it's Mnet, but at the same time, it's really kind of bad. It's really bad for them.
Yeah. Though I do think that their second teaser was actually better than when they did a cover of TVXQ's Rising Sun.
It's better because
It's
it's
good.
not actively bad. It's a good cover.
It's a good cover and it's a good song. And they
Mhm.
don't like it's
Their
easy
vocals are
to
good during the
butcher.
song. The
Yeah.
choreo's fine. Like,
That's the group's choreo. I think they still need I mean, this comes from experience. They still need to tighten that choreo a little bit.
oh
They
yeah.
still kind of like a lot of new boy groups or new groups in general look like it's a bunch of people
Mhm.
instead of one unit. Like you compare it to like for example, Golden Child, one that
Yeah.
we gushed about. Like they're doing a very similar thing. But you can
Mhm.
tell Golden Child's been doing this for years together and that 2 has not.
Yeah.
Like, really, where you see a lot of this is just comparing them. Because a lot of this we take for granted in group,
Mm-hmm.
and like seeing two do it in direct comparison, just really how
Yeah.
teamwork comes with time.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's a pretty bad situation for two to be in just because they are so new and there is no way that they're going to be at the level of any of the other groups who are on
And
this
that's
show.
not their fault. That's
It's
just
not.
that's
It's not
just
their
the
fault.
time situation.
I'm sure they were forced to be on this show.
Yeah, and I only imagine what they've been like. They have more experience and they know what works for them. Two has had no time to explore like what is two,
Two has no idea who they are.
who they are.
Yeah. They had zero time to explore that.
Exactly. It's just like they don't even have like they have one concept
Yeah.
because that's the one
It's not
debut
even
song
really a
they have.
concept. It's just a debut.
It's not a concept. It's the most generic boy group concept that exists.
Exactly. It's the one
Magnolia.
generic boy group. Bang. No.
Yeah, that's literally.
It's like we're in this like box like of a music video and there's like a car on fire. It's just
As
like
There's water on the floor and we're
Yeah.
walking barefoot through it. Whoa.
Oh god. Why is K-pop now deciding barefoot is what everyone
Look,
is that a trend that's gonna start?
I'm not.
Yes, it
I'm-
is.
Okay, I'm not even. Okay, cut.
I blame Black Swan.
I blame Black Swan too.
Yeah, Black Swan.
Even though it's not possible that we can blame two together, but I blame Black Swan.
We
Yep.
have
We
Woosuck.
love BTS.
We have Woosuck being barefoot. We have freaking Magnolia being barefoot. What's going on?
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Well, didn't Oh My Girl do their entire Destiny
Yes.
performance barefoot?
Yes, it's all just references to Destiny, guys.
Yes.
No, it's
They
BTS.
love
It's
that.
still BTS.
It's somehow BTS.
It's somehow BTS.
Somehow. But like
But-
two
Oh, go ahead.
two has and like no matter what happens, two's gonna come winning.
Mhm.
And I think that in years from now when two is still together and doing pretty well, it's just gonna be weird for their fans. Remember when like after they did that show? And it's gonna be nostalgia and they're gonna be adorable. Oh, they were so bad, but they got so good later.
Yeah.
Not bad, but like they
Yeah,
were so
no.
babies.
They
They are.
they don't
They're,
have a sound at all. They just have
They don't.
They don't.
so.
They have
But in
nothing
a
to
weird
go
way,
off
they
of
could
here.
have any sound.
That's
There's no
true.
brand.
They
They
can
could
go
do
on the
it.
show and they can do whatever the hell they want, and no one can complain because no one knows who they are.
Well, that's also kind of why we put them with as the, male equivalent to Park Bomb.
Yeah, process of
Bomb.
elimination, Park Bomb, only Queendom
Well,
contestant
no,
left.
in a weird way, they are sort of the opposite of Park Bomb, whereas Park Bomb was so much branding. She is so iconic. She is a member of 21. She is who she is. Her scandal, everything else. People know so much about her that
Mhm.
anything she did on Queen was just like she was the solo. She was
Like, she didn't need to go on there. Like,
And she
Queendom wasn't
didn't
gonna
need it.
help her in any way. Like, she was there probably for fun.
Yeah, and she had fun, and she got recognition. Like people loved her. And yeah, she
Mhm.
performances were necessarily the best.
It was sort of to
Like,
remind
she was
people that
having-
she was still there and making music and everything.
Yeah. And then with two, it's almost the opposite, where it's like no one has any expectations. They're brand
Mhm.
new. Like no matter what happens, it's a win. The same thing with Purple Bomb. No matter what happened, it was gonna win. It's just sort of the icon versus the we debuted a month ago.
Right.
Literally exactly a month ago.
Yeah. Happy month anniversary.
Happy month anniversary to two. The
yeah.
Voldemort
like-
of K-pop.
The Voldemort of this podcast. But like no, I think that they're just it's a weirdly apt comparison of them and it kind of worked out better than we expected.
we
We
gonna
have to
talk
talk
about
about
that
one more
one
thing.
horrible teaser for the
We
show.
need to talk about one
Oh
thing.
no.
So there is one teaser that came out for Road to Kingdom that is just a teaser for and
Ugh.
it is one of the worst things I've ever
It
seen.
makes
It
me
is it makes
so
me actively
angry.
angry.
So angry.
It starts with I'm just gonna describe it to you if any of you are in it. It starts with
Well, we'll link it in the description if people want to
Yep.
watch it.
BTS is winning at a music show, and you see I think that is Golden Child behind them.
It is.
We then
yes.
transition to GOT7 winning with Pentagon behind them.
Mhm.
We then transition to Monsta X winning with I don't know who behind them. I think it's Golden Child again, but I can't tell.
I think it is Golden Child.
And then Newest with I don't know who. Maybe the boy. Who knows?
I think it's the boys, but yeah, who knows?
And then 17 with I don't know. There's so many people on this stage. I think it might be One Us, but I can't tell.
Anyway,
So like I have no idea who's back there.
It's fine. It's one of the groups on the show who's back there.
And literally it just highlights the fact that they're boy groups that are just standing in the background while other groups win.
Well,
And
first
I'm like,
first
"What the
they
fuck?"
go through and they interview people about their favorite boy groups, and obviously you get like BTS, EXO, NCT, GOT7, like all these other groups. And then they go through the exact same clips they just showed you in black and white, but they highlight the faces of the group members standing in the back of the stage while these other big groups are winning. And it's just like what are you like? What is this?
that's so
Why?
sad.
It's so sad.
It's so depressing, and it's
And
also
it's
I
like-
don't think what
It's
this
so-
show should be about.
Yeah,
It's trying to highlight that it's like, look at how unsuccessful these groups
it's
are.
so
like,
patronizing, right? Because you're like showing
It's
like
very big.
it's like, oh yeah, now we're gonna be the people to make these people famous. Because nobody
Yeah.
knows who they are. Why would you? Because they're trash. Now
mhm.
let's show you all these groups you've never heard of because we can
But
help.
the other thing is
It's like,
that
no.
it doesn't even show every single one of these groups. First
Yeah.
off, 2's never been to a music show. 2 debuted during quarantine. They've never done a music show.
Yep.
They've never done.
Also,
They hadn't done
also-
a live performance when that was filmed.
also they only show about like what is it? 4 clips, 5 clips.
Yeah.
There's 7 boy groups on this show.
Mhm.
Even if they showed one of each, which I don't think they did, I think they repeated groups. They didn't even show all in the background. Like it's just a terrible way to market this show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The worst.
You know, I want to know what because we have this was all of these music shows were months ago. Are we supposed to think that while these big groups were winning, these boy groups were sitting there in raging jealousy, just like that should be me?
Yeah.
Like, do they like
Ugh.
what's happening? Like, I think.
Oh
Jen-
man.
like, I'm like, what is this
What is-
implying?
It just made me so angry the first time I watched it. I'm like, this is the worst possible like teaser for the show they could have made. It's just trying to highlight the fact that
And
yeah,
also,
we know
like,
that these are underrated groups already, but like we don't need to highlight the fact that they're like sad and unsuccessful. Like,
and also, am I supposed to feel like bad that groups like BTS are winning when it's like, well, Newest is winning and Newest waited
right.
7 years to have a win.
Mhm.
Newest took forever to have their first. Am I supposed to feel bad that now Newest will learn winning? Like,
Seriously.
what am I supposed to feel about the groups that is winning in this teaser?
Yeah.
Because I feel
It's
like Mnet just doesn't care about how anybody.
I don't
They're
even know
just
what
sort of-
this is
I
like.
don't know what Mnet's
Typical,
thinking.
typical shitty Mnet editing, like evil Mnet evil editing, like the epitome of that with this
Yeah.
teaser.
Oh yeah, because I think it just makes everybody look bad. The group that's winning, the groups that
Mhm.
are in the background. Like I don't.
Yep.
feel- I just feel angry at Mnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not great.
No, it's just so weird. I don't know what to say, Mnet.
Mhm.
Neither do I.
I don't. It's
Just poorly done.
It's
Maybe 'cause
so
a lot of them
bad.
don't seem that thing because they're just sort of happy to be there,
mhm.
and the music is just making them seem sad.
Ugh.
I don't know. And then you have like the stupid clips from like all of the other teams. Okay,
Yeah.
this is
And it is like, oh, here's the only time they're gonna ever show that they're talented. Like, it bothers me so much. Everything about this teaser.
we are gonna save these groups. We are.
It's just gonna
we
be.
are
We're
gonna
gonna
make-
take full credit for any of their popular.
Yeah.
Yep. It will be because of us, Mnet, the gods of K-pop.
God, I hate them so much.
I think Mnet is the worst people to make this show, but at this
They
point,
are, but it's like I
at
love
this
this
point, we
show
have
and its
Mnet.
format, but it's like,
It's
can it
because
not
of
be
the
Mnet?
groups.
Yeah,
It's because of the groups. I love all of these groups.
I do.
I don't like M.
Mnuts is horrible.
Yeah. But any final closing thoughts about what we think about the groups or anything else?
I like all these groups. There's
I
not
like
a
all
group in
these
here
groups.
that I don't.
I'm very
I think
excited
all
for
of
this
them have
show.
all of them
It's gonna
have
be great.
potential. I want all of them to have like a moment that's
Yeah.
popular. All of them to love, support
Mhm.
all of them. For as much as we are gonna critique all of them, it comes from a place of love and wanting them to do better.
Yeah, it's pretty like we're not gonna just bias certain groups because we really like them. Like we're gonna be honest with how we feel about their performances and what they're doing on this show.
Yeah, look at what we said about Pentagon. We love
Yeah,
Pentagon.
we love Pentagon.
We love Pentagon.
And Pentagon is by far the most disappointing for us so far.
I know, we're so
Which is so sad.
Yeah.
we love them too much.
And
Yeah.
If we didn't love Pentagon as much as we did, their performances would have been higher because
Yeah,
they're
if
good.
if we didn't, yeah,
Right.
if
If we didn't
love
have
Pentagon,
such high expectations for Pentagon, yeah.
they would have been amazing. We would have probably
Mhm.
very high, just probably because of reputation.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think
Mhm.
that's gonna
Mhm.
Be
finish
it
it
for
up.
tonight.
That's gonna finish it up for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been
To this very long
this
episode.
has been
It's been a fun episode.
yeah, we already
We-
split it up
yeah.
into 2 parts. It's been long, but it's been a
Yeah.
lot
It's
of fun.
been a
So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.